Hello and welcome to the viewers of this video. This is the Orange Fan here, bringing you another entry for the episode Recap and Thoughts category. This video will be dedicated to episode 20 of Young Justice, Coldhearted. We begin this episode in Central City on November 11th, where Kid Flash is awoken by his alarm clock, but he's quite happy because today is his 16th birthday and his arm has fully healed after it was injured during the fight with the Injustice League back in Revelation. He's also surprised to see that it's snowing outside, but what he doesn't realize is that the snow is coming from an ice fortress flying in the sky. But Kid Flash proceeds to head to the kitchen, where he gets to enjoy a big birthday breakfast. His parents turn the TV on to the news channel, and they see that Wally's Aunt Iris is wishing him a happy birthday on the air, and she's also listing off all the schools that get a snow day today, and Wally is pleased to see that his school is one of the schools that gets a snow day. He arrives at Mount Justice through Zeta Beam technology, and just in time too, because the moment he arrives, the Zeta Beam technology shuts down because of the snowstorm. And lucky still for Wally, he sees that everyone else several people have come to throw him a surprise party. His teammates, his Uncle Flash, and Red Tornado. And they made him 2 cakes to have for his birthday. Now, Kid Flash is hoping that he'll get his birthday wish granted. And for him, his birthday wish is he's hoping to get a kiss from Miss Martian. He tells Miss Martian that he can't say what his wish is or else it won't come true, but he not so subtly hints at her to read his mind to find out. And she ends up giving him a kiss, but it's on the forehead. And Artemis is talking to Robin and Zatanna, thinking that maybe they should tell Kid Flash about Superboy and Miss Martian becoming a couple. And Robin says it's probably a good idea because Kid Flash is the only one among the young heroes who doesn't know about Miss Martian and Superboy becoming a couple. So Artemis takes Kid Flash aside and tells him the news. And he's a little bummed out about it, but his mood is back in good spirits again when they get a call from Batman mentioning that there's not 1 but 5 ice fortresses that are causing a snowstorm throughout the continental United States. And the exciting part is that because the 2 Justice League members who are also members of the Green Lantern Corps, Hal Jordan and John Stewart, are off-world, that means Batman needs as many hands on deck as he can. So that means the Young Justice team and the Justice League will get to work together for a mission, and Kid Flash is especially excited about it. Only to find out, though, that Kid Flash will be the only member of the Young Justice team who won't be participating in this particular mission. And that's because he's been given another mission. Because of the snowstorm, the airports have been shut down because of the snowstorm, and as it was mentioned earlier, the Zeta Beam technology is shut down because of the snowstorm as well. So what's going to happen is Kid Flash needs to make a trip across the continental United States. This is because in a hospital in Seattle, there's a young girl that needs a heart transplant, and in a hospital in Boston, there is a viable heart for the young girl. And Kid Flash needs to go to Boston to get the heart, and he needs to make it all the way to Seattle on time so that both the young girl will survive and to make sure that the heart will still be viable by the time he arrives at the Seattle hospital. So Kid Flash proceeds to go about this mission while the rest of the Young Justice team meet up with the Justice League to deal with the ice fortresses. Kid Flash makes it to the Boston hospital. They give him a backpack that the heart is inside, and the backpack is very sturdy, but at the same time, they say that Kid Flash should still not take any unnecessary risks, even with the safety of the backpack. And they also tell him he only has 4 hours to make it to the Seattle hospital, or else the heart will no longer be viable. So Kid Flash proceeds to make the cross-country journey. Oh, and Batman also mentioned that the law enforcement throughout the continental United States has been made aware of his mission, so they're trying to clear up the roads as much as possible to make Kid Flash's journey that much more efficient. By the time Kid Flash makes it to South Dakota, he gets stopped by Vandal Savage. Vandal Savage claims that when he heard a speedster was going across the continental United States, he thought it would be Flash, saying that he has a score to settle with Flash, but he decides that dealing with Kid Flash will be sufficient revenge instead. Kid Flash spends about 15 minutes fighting Vandal Savage before he realizes he has about 2 hours left to make it to the Seattle hospital, so he abandons the fight to continue his mission. But Vandal Savage pulls a pocket watch out and he looks at the time, saying that he thinks the amount of time that he fought Kid Flash for will suffice for something. In Seattle, Dr. Cross, the doctor who will perform the heart transplant, is outside waiting for Kid Flash, but he goes inside to take a quick break when he doesn't see Kid Flash. And by the time Kid Flash arrives, a different doctor greets him, but this doctor tells him that the young girl has passed away. Kid Flash is confused by this because, as he points out, he still has a few minutes to spare. But the doctor says that she passed away sooner than they expected, but says that Kid Flash shouldn't blame himself because he's sure that Kid Flash got there as soon as he could. But mentally, Kid Flash is beating himself up over the fact that he wasted 15 minutes fighting Vandal Savage. But what Kid Flash doesn't see is the doctor giving a sinister smirk. He's actually an imposter. But he keeps up the act by saying that maybe a different recipient can use the heart, so he'll hold on to it still. But while Kid Flash is beating himself up still in the hospital lobby, Dr. Cross arrives, questioning where the Queen's heart is. At first, Kid Flash thinks that maybe the heart is going to a queen because the young girl passed away, but Dr. Cross clarifies that the Queen is the young girl. She's actually the 10-year-old ruler of Vladima, Queen Perdita. And Kid Flash realizes that he's been tricked, and he sees the imposter doctor leaving in the elevator. So Kid Flash makes a point to make up for being tricked and make sure that Perdita gets the heart. And, as a little tidbit, the imposter doctor's name is revealed in the credits to be Henchy. But anyway, Kid Flash gets to the parking lot in the basement of the hospital where he reclaims the heart from Henchy, but then he gets attacked by Count Vertigo, who's revealed to be the true mastermind behind this. Kid Flash needs to stall for some time to think of a plan to get away from Vertigo and get the heart to Perdita. So he questions Count Vertigo. He questions how Count Vertigo is not in jail like the rest of the Injustice League. And Count Vertigo responds that he has diplomatic immunity as long as he isn't proven to have committed a crime against Vladima. And he also does admit that Vandal Savage fighting Kid Flash was a way to stall Kid Flash so that Perdita wouldn't get the heart. That's because Count Vertigo is Perdita's uncle, and he's the next in line to rule Vladima if Perdita passes away. But Kid Flash was able to stall enough to think of a plan. He stops Vertigo's attack, and he gets the heart. He makes it back to the first floor of the hospital, and he gets the heart to Dr. Cross, who rushes to Perdita, and Kid Flash becomes unconscious. It's now November 12th, and there's a news report that says that Perdita has passed away on the operating table. When Kid Flash regains consciousness, Count Vertigo is there to rub salt in the wounds, saying that Kid Flash's efforts were in vain. Kid Flash, though, responds that Count Vertigo probably owes a lot of favors to Vandal Savage for his part in trying to stall Kid Flash for the heart, because she passed away on the operating table. But Count Vertigo isn't worried about this, because he says that the great thing about Perdita's passing on the operating table means that he got what he wanted without having to do anything directly to Perdita. And he does outright admit that, yeah, he was going to attempt regicide, but it doesn't matter now. No one will know that. But then Kid Flash pulls a curtain. Yeah, he pulls away a curtain and reveals that Queen Perdita, voiced by Ariel Winter, is alive and well, and she recorded what Count Vertigo confessed, so she's not happy about what her uncle had to say. And Count Vertigo no longer has diplomatic immunity. As a last attempt to claim the throne, Vertigo tries to attack his niece, but Kid Flash stops him, and the security guards take him away to Bel Rev. And Perdita thanks Kid Flash for not only giving her the heart, or going across the continental United States to give her the heart, but also for coming up with the plan to fake her death so that she'll be safe from Vertigo, and to get Vertigo to confess that he tried to attempt regicide. And Kid Flash, that's right, Count Vertigo had a sword with him, and he no longer has it, so Kid Flash is about to give it to Perdita, but she responds that while it is an artifact or an heirloom that belongs to the Vladimir royal family, she says that she's willing to let Kid Flash have it. He could think of it as a souvenir. It's now November 13th, and we're at Bel Rev, and Count Vertigo is the laughingstock among the prisoners in Bel Rev. Batman and Flash have paid the warden, Hugo Strange, a visit regarding the ice fortresses, because they believe that the 5 ice-themed villains, the Icicle Duo, Senior and Junior, Killer Frost, Captain Cold, and Mr. Freeze, are the most likely culprits for the ice fortresses. But Hugo Strange says that's impossible because they were all in their cells for the entire duration of the ice fortresses' attacks. But Greg Weisman had confirmed that, yeah, the ice villains were behind the ice fortresses. So now we cut to Mount Justice, where Robin is congratulating Kid Flash on a job well done. And we find out that Kid Flash decided that the souvenir for this mission would actually be the heart backpack instead. And mentally, he says to himself, this is because it reminded him of how lucky he was to be on this mission, because the greatest birthday gift that he received was seeing Perdita smile that she's alive and well and that her operation was successful. And that's how we end the episode. Now, this episode was another spotlight episode for Kid Flash, and I really did enjoy this. Now, Young Justice is a TV show where I pretty much enjoy something about all the episodes. There really isn't an episode that I didn't enjoy, even though there are some elements of the show that I wish might have been a little different or wasn't too big of a fan of. But I do overall still enjoy the show, and I do feel all of the episodes are still overall strong episodes. And the reason I bring that up is because even though I think that, there are still some episodes I liked better than others. yeah, there are still episodes I liked better than others. And in this case, I prefer Coldhearted over Denial as far as a Kid Flash Spotlight episode goes. And that's because I felt this episode did a great job of showing Kid Flash showing a lot of maturity, especially when he kind of realized how important his mission was, and that he was glad that he was able to make a kid smile because of all of the effort he did to help save their life. And otherwise, oh, that's right. We should probably talk about why was November 11th chosen as Kid Flash's birthday. Well, Greg Weisman confirmed that the birthdays chosen in the Young Justice TV series are birthdays of people that are important to him, like his family members, and I imagine some friends too, maybe. Oh, and speaking of family members, this episode in particular was written by John Weisman, who also does write for other episodes of Young Justice as well. And yes, John Weisman is actually the younger brother of Greg Weisman. And I think that's pretty heartwarming that two relatives are working together on a TV show. There's something heartwarming to see relatives working together in shared interests. And it was pretty cool that John Weisman got to write this particular episode because Queen Perdita was actually a character that was first introduced in DC Showcase Green Arrow, which was written by Greg Weisman. And I heard that there was apparently going to be a story for the tie-in comics that would have also tied into Perdita's storyline. Like, I think it was supposed to happen before Coldhearted. Green Arrow, Red Arrow, and I believe Black Canary were supposed to be important for that particular story, but unfortunately that wasn't published to the public. I don't know how far they got into the development before the tie-in comics were no longer being made, so it's unfortunate that that particular story didn't get to be released to the public. Oh, and for anything else about this episode, oh yeah, I thought I'd take a moment to say, like, I couldn't help but get a good laugh out of the name of one of Count Vertigo's henchmen, Henchy. I mean, a part of me is, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a nickname because I can't possibly imagine his parents saying, he's gonna be a villain's henchman in the future, so let's name him Henchy. But if that turns out to be his real name, that would be hilarious. But yeah, I thought I got a good laugh out of that. That the henchman's name is Henchy. But otherwise, yeah, that's about all I really had to say for this particular episode. I did prefer this as far as Kid Flash's Spotlight episodes go, and yeah, I thought it had a nice message to it, and yeah, it was pretty cool that the Weisman brothers kind of got to work together just in the show in general. It's pretty heartwarming and kind of cool that the Weisman brothers get to work together on a show together. But there you go. That we've now discussed episode 20 of Young Justice on this channel. Take care, and until next time.